Wow.
Boogaloo.
Films. Bad films. Lots of films. Very, very bad films. Films. Watch that film. Then talk about it. It's Electric Boogaloo with Matt and Keenan.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Electric Boogaloo, the show where we make bad films worse. I'm Keenan Groom, perfectly disguised as Matt Bradley.
I've been a wolf this whole time. Going by the name of Keenan Groom. Matt Bradley?
So anyway, we watched Master of Disguise this week. Oh my God, your hair.
I couldn't even go, you know what, we'll deal with it.
Perfect. Sorry,
I
I just put my charger on.
I thought that's the only
I
master.
enjoyed it. It was great because I wasn't expecting you to do that. And so when we were just setting up for the call, I click on and I'm like, right, it's starting up now. And oh, that's Keenan wearing a wolf mask. Okay.
I've got too much space.
So, yeah, you do. So this film was a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is one I've been looking forward to us doing for quite a long time, and I'm very glad we got to it. So, I guess a little context for this. This was, I think, Dana Carvey's kind of first film after leaving SNL.
It was after Wayne's World, this one, I think. Oh, was he doing Wayne's World during SNL?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Wayne's World was originally an SNL bit, and then it became a film. I think this was his kind of first. This went to his big break, his like big film vehicle, and it did so badly that nobody hired him again. Really, he certainly has never been a star in anything since.
Yeah, it must suck going from like seeing what Mike Myers has been doing with his life.
Yeah, I mean, it happened to Mike Myers a few years later as well with The Love Guru. So
yeah, we got Shrek to sail on for a while.
Oh, I mean, yeah, Mike Myers did very, very well for himself between Shrek and Austin Powers. Yeah,
yeah.
I'd say Dana Carvey still made quite a lot of money from Wayne's World and SNL and this.
Yeah.
So he just didn't do anything afterwards, and that's fine, I guess. But yeah, this film sucks really bad.
The word stupid or silly in the words to describe it. I think it's
definitely poor choices. I think were made during the writing process.
I think slapstick only really works properly on stage.
Yes, I would agree with that.
There's always going to be like
I think it can work on screen if it's not like overly edited and like done kind of naturally. Like you see it in like a show like I just said like 5 times. You see it in a show like a bit of Fry and Laurie or Monty Python, and that's kind of more theatrically done.
Yeah, I was going to say that's theatre in a film, isn't it? Rather than let's say like Charlie Chaplin and stuff like that.
Whereas this is it's a lot of slapping with silly sound effects over it, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And also, like, Dana Carvey does really good impressions, and he's a funny guy. The character choices he makes in this film, oh boy, Manzi.
Yeah, this film hasn't aged well.
No, it has not. So we'll get to all of that, but first, Keenan, do you have a little story for me?
I do have a little story for you. This one is a little bit longer. I thought, you know what, let's find a full story for you today.
Okay. I'm sitting comfortably, so
this one was uploaded from Michigan. So it's the city of Michigan in the country of movie theatre in the continent of USA, if we're going for this. Or that's clearly what the progression is.
Famous continent.
Yeah, it's clear what the progression is. Surely it's city, country, continent. Or Michigan
on the planet of North America.
Planet of USA.
Well, no, if it's continent of USA, it's the planet of North America in the solar system of Earth, in et cetera, et cetera.
I thought you were going to carry on.
No.
This was uploaded in June. So this is
okay.
I'm going to get close to this one, like story time. I can't be like Charles Dance.
Daddy.
I had Charles Dance's voice, but I don't. This was when I worked at a local movie theatre. We worked regularly with the other local movie theatre and honoured their customer memberships and discounts for tickets and concessions. This woman probably
Hey Keenan, what's a ticket?
That's what you get when you want to go to the toilets.
Nice.
This woman, probably late 50s, would come in about once a month, claiming to have a membership when she in fact did not, and then would throw a fit when we couldn't find her in the computer system. Okay, that's the preface of this. Me. She does not have a membership card to show me, so I have to look up her name in the computer. What's a Michigan accent?
I don't know, dude. Just general American, I think.
I'm going to pretend that she is from the south of America.
Because that's the only American accent you can do?
Yeah. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I cannot find your name in our system. Are you sure the membership is not expired? We could renew for you if you like. Customer, who's going to be from New Jersey. No.
New Jersey by the way of New Zealand. What was that?
Elberford, clearly. No. I told you I'd been trying. I've told you I've been traveling and I took my membership quite out of my purse. I have a gold level membership.
It's Swedish. It's called Swedish.
Okay, she's from Sweden now. She then proceeds to spell out her name very slowly in a very condescending tone. My name is Helga. I live on Sesame Street. Look it up again. Me, retyping this information. I'm sorry, I'm still not finding it. Could it be under a different name? Customer, screaming and slamming her fists on the table. No. My name is Helga. I have a gold membership. I get a free ticket and free popcorn. Why she got Irish? I don't know.
She went from Swedish to Austrian to Irish within like one sentence.
If anyone from the University of Salford is watching this, I will happily give my degree back. Me. Getting irritated at her childish behavior. I understand, but I'm not finding your information in the computer. Even if she was actually a member, her name was extremely common. And we must have had at least 60 customers with the same exact name. Her name's John Smith. I had to scroll about 5 pages just to confirm that I did not have her in my system. I'm just going to do it.
It's John Smith, but like, the cross through the O.
Oh, so it's a 0. J0.
Well, no, like, how like in Sweden they have like the with the line through it.
Yeah, in European. If not, she's just a number.
John Smith.
I'm just going to do the rest in my own accent because I've lost my train of thought.
Pray for the best.
Customer more screaming, slam her hands on the counter. I've already told you I have a membership. I've been traveling and I don't have my card on me. This happens every single time I come in. This goes on for a while with her yelling and then repeating her name, spelling it out over and over again and insisting that I look up the information again. Me, giving up. I don't know why he's angry. Let me get my manager. My manager eventually just gives her the free ticket and popcorn and the customer walks off in a smug satisfaction. Would you like to work out the ending of the story?
Does she trip over and get a bucket of popcorn stuck on her head?
That would be perfect. But it goes like this. I was informed later that she does this all the time and she uses the same story every time, that she's been traveling and took her membership card out of her purse. She's behaved the same way with almost every employee. What's sad is that she's apparently a very prominent and wealthy member of the community, and yet she throws temper tantrums in public and tries to scam local businesses. Way to set a good example.
Ugh.
You find that? The more money you have, the more people try and get free stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you don't earn much more above minimum wage, you appreciate these businesses that they don't get paid much either. Go, I will pay full price for it.
100%. Yeah. I've obviously not worked hospitality in a way that I get tips or anything, but don't you usually find that the people who tip better are like the working class people, or the people who've worked hospitality themselves?
Most restaurants. Me at the minute, it's the other way around. Because I work in an establishment where the ticket prices for the theatre are more expensive. So then you get to the ballet and opera people who have spent 100 quid on a ticket and they use fivers as toilet paper, so you just chuck them at you like it's nothing.
Fair enough.
But like the Christmas shows, when someone from the local community had to fork out for a family of 4, they don't have much. So I'm like, you don't give me anything because your child wants an ice cream or something like that. But most restaurants, you're right.
Yeah. Like I definitely, hearing stories from like my brother when he did that, like people would tip him more if they'd like worked the same job in the past because they know how little you get paid.
You find they treat you better because they know what it's like.
For sure.
Again, I've said this every single time. It should be everyone should work retail or hospitality. Well, customer care, so it could be a fireman, it could be a teacher, it could be someone who has to like look after a group of humans.
I would make the case that everyone should have to work like specifically retail or hospitality.
Yeah.
For at least a year, because like that hits different.
Well, it can easily
obviously
be like,
I've never taught or been a fireman, but like it still hits different. You should work retail or hospitality.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like there's a way you can do it for work experience. Maybe, like when you have a week, but you get to choose, or you have to.
I think everyone should have to do at least a year because, I mean, it takes... Sometimes you get a good week, but you never get a good year.
That's where you work. I'm really biased because I know how to speak to... Well, I just know how to speak to rich people. Let's pretend I'm their grandchild.
I feel like we've disguised this show as a show where we talk about our retail experiences when we should be talking about the master of disguise. So,
to be fair, that was not any worse an Italian accent than a lot of them in this.
That was a better Italian accent than Dana Carvey does in this movie.
Yeah, I thought he was French for half the film.
So let's get into this mess.
Yes.
The first note I have is actually a positive one, which is that the opening credits for this movie are really fun.
They are fun with the flipbook thing.
Yeah, right? I was like, oh, maybe this isn't as bad as I thought it was. And then that was the best part of the movie.
I can vouch for a few people in this.
Really?
No, Jennifer Estiolo. I don't know what her surname is in real life, but Jennifer played Jennifer because they don't give her a name in this. Yeah. I thought she was good.
She was fine, but she didn't really have a personality.
I think she did well with. She did the best she could. I'm thinking of the actor. She did well in the circumstances they threw in.
For sure.
All the situations she got thrown in, she dealt with them quite well.
Yeah, I mean, her character was absolutely nothing, but she was fine. And like, to be fair, I thought the guy playing the granddad was pretty good.
The granddad was fun. The kid,
but
best character.
I don't think I laughed at any of the jokes in this movie.
I laughed out loud quite a lot on a couple of instances, but it's for the same. But it's for the same. I kind of like
wince laughed at times. I was like, oh no, that kind of laugh.
Yeah,
I think I did that a couple of times, but other than that, yeah. So the film. So the plot of the film. Let's do the plot summary. There's an ancient family whose last name is Disguise, and they have the ability to disguise themselves and tap into the Force, but it's disguising Force.
Don't forget this is Italian, like so their name is Disguise.
Disguise, yes.
Yeah.
And then the last one, whoever used the powers, defeats an evil businessman and then retires. Mm-hmm. And then the evil businessman gets freed from prison, kidnaps him and his son, Pistachio, whose name is Pistachio, has to learn to become a master of disguise himself to save his dad's life. That's the plot of this movie. His name is Pistachio Disguise. Oh, sorry, Pistachio Disguisey.
Thank you.
And that's a lot. And that was a choice.
The premise of this film, I think, as a full-on action film, might be quite cool.
Yeah.
Where you get someone either who you can change their features very well, or you get like multiple actors to play this person. Would be quite cool.
That's just Mission Impossible 4, I think.
Right. I hadn't seen them.
It's just the Mission Impossible movies. There's a whole running theme in those movies where you'll have a scene where an important character does something, and it's like, oh, cool, that important character did something, and they lift up their mask and it's Tom Cruise. And like, oh my god, it was Tom Cruise the entire time.
So things like that would be quite cool.
Yeah,
but
I love the Mission Impossible movies.
This weird premise.
Yeah, this didn't work. So in that opening scene where like you're seeing the dad fighting the evil businessman, does he have the power of flight? Because it sure seems like he did. Because it was like he was portraying a lady, like, and her like it was like a dress like catches
cashmere sheer, like very see-through,
and like she glides down.
Yeah, that material wasn't thick enough to.
No.
Yeah.
So I think that the power of disguise and its ability to tap into like the energy.
That's why, because we're misinterpreting the Italian accent. It's the power of disguise, so they can fly.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's why.
And also the disguises essentially have the force in a way. So maybe he's just doing force flight with the Energico. Which what?
Yeah, it's just Star Wars, isn't it?
It's just Star Wars, yeah. So I'd have who names their son Pistachio written in big text, because I mean his name's Pistachio Disguisey, and Dana Carvey's not even American. He's not even Italian. So this was a full-on choice by him.
What do we make him the villain here? Did he write it?
Yes, he was the writer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's his fault. I didn't realize he wrote it.
This movie was produced by Adam Sandler, which is not a surprise.
Oh yeah, it's Happy Gilmore, wasn't it?
Happy Madison, yeah.
Happy Madison, yeah. Happy Gilmore's completely different.
Happy Gilmore's the movie,
yeah.
Which is, I think, a Happy Madison production, though.
Yeah, that's why I thought that's where they got it from.
They might have done. I do have the one line here that I think did make me laugh, which is when you see Pistachio as a baby and they smack him on the bum and he goes, "You slap me, I slap you," when he slaps the guy in the face. That made me laugh. I can't lie.
So stupid.
So it's a baby saying, "You slap me, I slap you." Yeah. Another naming problem I have is Pistachio's dog was named The Cuteness.
I think
a bad name for a dog.
But in the credits, The Cuteness is credited as The Cuteness. So it's either they got a dog. So right, the two things are Dana, because obviously he wrote this, he called it Cuteness, which is stupid. Or it's just because Pistachio is stupidly named in that, which is still his fault. Or they hired an acting dog
that was called The Cuteness.
Call The Cuteness, so you blame the owner for that. But then also they didn't think to
change the name. So it's definitely Dana Carvey's fault to some aspect.
Yeah, because I think a lot of these Lassie and the dog in Annie and stuff, they're trained to respond to most voices. It doesn't matter what you call them.
I don't know, man. The dog's name was The Cuteness.
Yeah, but it could ride a skateboard though, so it was cool.
Yeah. So the dad gets kidnapped, the mum gets kidnapped, and Pistachio sees it, and he calls the police.
Why was he on the roof?
And that is a good question. One that I do not have an answer for. So I'm going to guess he was on the roof
because he's Batman.
Yes, because he's Batman.
Okay.
And then he forgets maybe he was up there doing an impression of Batman. Because part of Pistachio's whole deal is that when he hears a voice sometimes, he has to repeat it in the same voice and make fun of the accent.
Yeah.
You see him speaking to a Texan guy, and he does a Texan accent that's almost as bad as Keenan's.
Yeah, but I'm not a master of disguise, so arguably,
although at this point, He was not a master of disguise yet. He was just a member of Disguise, the family.
Dr. Penn.
There's a bit where he calls the police, and he's like saying, "Oh, my papa and my mama were kidnapped. Papa da dupa. Mamma mia. Mama's cannoli is here." Puts the phone up to the cannoli, and you hear the voice on the police just go, "Don't call again," and hangs up.
Well, that's because he said, "Wait, my name is a pistachio," as well. That's the thing I found. To do a convincing Italian accent, put A in front of everything. My name is a pistachio. My mama's a coloni. So he just puts A in front of everything. Sometimes he's like, "Hello, my name is Pistachio." I was like, "You Princess Bride now?"
That was Inigo. Yeah, I was going to say that was Inigo Montoya.
Yeah. Are you Princess Bride? Are you French? Right. Where are you from, mate?
Who's to say? So the grandpa shows up, and he's probably the best character in this film. He is a true master of disguise. He's dressed up like a maid for some reason, and then he takes the maid disguise off. And then he gives you the backstory of the disguise family, how they used to stop thieves in ancient Rome, and how they helped Abraham Lincoln get elected by inventing "I like to move it."
Yeah,
you see Abe Lincoln twerking.
Yeah, it's basically Abe Lincoln. Is that common knowledge that Abe was boring in public speaking?
No,
because I was going to say he was one of the.
He gave good.
He's arguably one of the best presidents America have ever had.
Yes, I mean, granted that's because in the time he was there, he abolished slavery and then got shot. So he didn't have a lot of time to mess up.
Yeah.
But the Gettysburg Address, for example, famously a very good speech.
Yeah. I don't know why. Are they claiming that the disguises did the Gettysburg
Address and also filled it with music from the 21st century somehow.
Yeah.
Maybe the disguises time travel?
Yeah. Before you carry on with that, when they get introduced to the granddad for the first time, this is when you fully understand the intelligence of Pistachio.
Mm-hmm.
The granddad says, no. He says,
the granddad says, "Your father is my son."
Yeah, so he's like, "My father, your son, you're my sister?"
Yeah. And then he jumps into his arms and kisses him on the cheek, and it's like, is that how you'd respond to your sister? That's a bit weird, Pistachio.
It's a European thing, I suppose, isn't it?
Maybe. But no, the European thing is actually the kiss on both cheeks thing.
Yeah.
He leaps into her arms and starts making out with her cheek. It's weird.
Where's your brain go for my father is your son, therefore my father must be
your father and
my
you
father,
must be my
so that
sister.
means yeah. I can't work out the maths there.
Don't bother. It's just that Dana Carvey's a bad film writer. Another thing in this scene that I noticed, that he makes him some spaghetti and one really giant meatball. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's just a thing they do in a proper Italian restaurants, but God, that was a big meatball.
I don't think it's meatballs isn't really a Italian thing, is it? It's more ragouts and stuff. And then
Italian American would do meatballs.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they do one giant meatball like that. Anyway, we start seeing Pistachio doing some disguise stuff and training with a slapping dummy, which comes back later on in a fun way. Did you watch the post-credit scenes, by the way?
Oh, 100%.
Right.
The best character in the whole film.
We'll get to that at the end of the review.
His outfit was the best thing in the whole film.
Yes. Anyway, so Pistachio learns that you can tap into this huge energy force that's all around you called Energico, and that allows you to become another person in your soul.
Yeah,
and
rather
to
than
do
just being
this,
impressions. Yeah,
he just does something super racist. So first of all, he's in brown face and dressed like an Indian guy. And then he's speaking his usual Italian accent and just wearing brown face. And then he taps into the Energico, and then he starts doing an offensive Indian accent. And charms a snake and starts making out with a snake. It's real gross.
It's really awkward. But what's more awkward is he's like an impressionist, isn't he? Dana as a whole, and he's learned to do a relatively convincing accent, which makes it worse, I think.
Was it relatively convincing, or was it just racist? To me, it felt like it was like, instead of it being, a convincing Indian accent,
it was stereotypical.
It was a poo from The Simpsons, essentially.
It was very stereotypical.
Yeah, it was real gross. And like later on, you see the Pistachio's dad disguising himself as people of other races, and what they do for that is they get actors of other races.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I put down Michael Johnson.
I think specifically celebrities.
Like Michael Johnson's in it, the athlete.
Yes,
you could have easily just found like, it doesn't have to be a celebrity. You could have found just an Indian actor,
an Indian guy. Yeah, but instead they put Dana Carvey in brownface.
I suppose because what it is like the dad makes so convincing, like he becomes the person, like Michael Johnson and Jessica Simpson. But like
Dana Carvey's just,
you can still tell it's him.
Yeah,
you could have gone.
It was a bad choice.
If you're going to be stereotypical, be like, I don't know, Scotsman or something. Yeah,
because like there are times when he plays like weird American characters or weird English characters.
The Irish guy was quite funny. The Irish,
like a Jaws, I think specifically that Quince from Jaws he was doing.
Yeah,
and like that's, I mean, none of them were good, but they were fine, But then
the English accent was pretty good.
The English accent is good, but like the character sucked.
Yeah.
But then when he's being the Indian guy, and when he's being the Cuban guy. Oh,
well, yeah, because we had a chat about this because he was being Pacino, wasn't he? So it's a hard.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great when Pacino did it either, but he was definitely playing it up more than he was definitely going more offensive than Pacino was.
Yeah, well, it's weird because the one Cuban actor in this, they made her from like Rhode Island.
Yeah,
I can't remember her name, but the lady from she's in Wizards of Waverly Place, I think. She's Mexican.
Okay.
I thought she was from One Day at a Time, but it wasn't her, was it?
No.
She's from Wizards of Waverly Place, the Disney show, where they're Mexican, and then they made her not Mexican. Yeah.
But what I have here, like you find her name, and I will talk about the scene where they steal the Constitution, because oh my god, that made me laugh. So Master of Disguise dad guy, he's working for the villain because the villain has his wife and keeps threatening to kill her by like raising hands out of a pile of flour.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. And so the villain's plan is he's going to use the disguising powers of this guy to steal all the greatest treasures of America and then sell them on the black market eBay, or black mark eBay as it's called.
Yeah.
Which is dumb. But the way they steal the US Constitution is he disguises himself as Michael Johnson. And then the guy's like, oh, we'll do a relay race of the Constitution. And he hands him the Constitution and he just runs away.
Yeah, just sprints off really very, very quickly.
If they made the entire film gags like that, I would have loved this.
Oh, yeah, that would have been funny.
Unfortunately, 100%. The other two times they do that exact same joke don't work nearly as well as the first time. And then you get introduced to like a running gag with the villain, which is that he farts after he laughs, which didn't really go anywhere.
Okay. I stand corrected. I had to do a lot of wiki jumping. So it's Maria Canals Barrera. She is just from Florida, apparently. It's because
with the surname Barrera.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it's basically, I think what it is because she played Selena Gomez's mum, and Selena Gomez has got Mexican descent. So I just assumed that they. But I think she's definitely got.
Obviously, if you look,
South American family, North American is Mexican, but
with the surname Barrera, for sure, there's some Latin descent there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, she's got Cuban parents, Catalan descent.
No, she's Cuban.
She's just born in Florida.
Yeah, we got there in the end.
Tangents. My middle name.
That's what this show is. Now, let's talk about the reason that I brought this movie to our attention in the first place.
Oh, before we get to the best scene, can we talk about the time I full on like howled with laughter.
Oh,
multiple
go on,
times.
Please.
Every time the child fell off his skateboard.
Oh yeah.
The first time he just stacked it into an A-frame advertisement board. He's like,
what?
Perfect.
What I enjoyed so much about the first time is that Dana Carvey does a terrible Shrek impression, and like a terrible donkey impression, and he's like donkey.
Weirdly, the donkey impression was better than the Shrek impression.
Yeah, and then the kid just stares at him and doesn't say anything for a solid 10 seconds. It's just dead footage, and it is so good.
I loved him. He was great.
Hey. Is what I'm here to sell you today. Hi, my name is Horseman Jones, and what I do is I go from town to town, bringing all the best horse products that you could want. So what I've got hay, I've got horseshoes, I've got saddles, and I've got a DVD that helps your horse talk. Interested in any of those?
Tell me more about this DVD.
Yeah, so what happens is I put this DVD in a DVD player or a Blu-ray player. And you play it for your horse. Yeah. You have to have a telly to connect to the DVD player. I don't sell a DVD player on the telly, unfortunately. Or Blu-ray player, important note. So, you play this DVD for your horse. And what it is it's a centaur. You know centaurs from Greek mythology, right? You've heard of them. The centaur tells the horse, in horse, hey, I'm going to teach you how to speak human. Get ready. And then does like a, you know how like you do like English for foreign language in other countries? He essentially gives him an EFL course and teaches the horse how to speak English through horse teachings. I'm your guy, John Horseman John, whatever my name was. The DVD costs a tenner. Any questions? Anyway, they find a cigar that has a mark on it saying this is from the Turtle Club, which is like an exclusive VIP club in New York.
Mm-hmm.
The way Dana Carvey decides he's going to disguise himself to get... Pistachio decides he's going to disguise himself to get into the Turtle Club is by dressing as a big turtle man.
Because he thinks it's a club for turtles.
The turtle men, yeah.
Yeah.
And he rolls up in his big shell, and he's got himself like a weird beak face, and he's bald, and he keeps going, turtle, turtle, turtle. Am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club? He like disappears into his shell at one point. Yeah, there he is. There he is. He bites off a dude's nose while he's in there. That's never explained.
The very small things I've written down. Did he bite off a guy's nose? There was no.
I have written down.
But then there was no hole. There's no hole or blood for the noses. It's just.
Like, and he spits it back out and it just attaches itself back on. And that's
Am I not
never
turtly
brought
enough
up again.
For
the Turtle Club. Oh my God. I've heard about the scene for a long time. I've seen it in like bad movie shows. Actually seeing it play out in front of my eyes, I'm a changed person.
Oh, I loved it. That's what the film should be like. I feel like
turtly enough. Turtle Club.
If it was him doing disguises, but with his like slightly slower brain, misinterpreting them, that'd have been perfect.
But then this is the only time he does a bad disguise.
Yeah, go to the Turtle Club. Turtle. Let's go to I don't know.
Well, I suppose he goes to the antique show and he dresses like a
but if he dressed up as a wardrobe or something. Or an antique, and he's like, "Oh, I'm now, I don't know, George Washington."
Oh, he just dresses like 150-year-old man.
Yeah, that'd have been perfect.
Sonny Jimbo.
Well, that'd have been exact. That should have been how it was.
Yeah, but instead he dresses as this weird, very horny middle-aged woman.
She was quite funny though. I'll give her that.
Her name was like Gammy Num Nums or something.
I thought it was Numnut the whole time, but it's Num Num. Gammy Numnuts. That's what I thought it was. Gammy Numnut.
Gammy Numnuts.
Yeah.
And then that doesn't work. And so the evil guy is like, hey, Jennifer, why don't you come back with me to my party later? That was a fart, in case you weren't aware.
That's what happens, isn't it? That's what happens.
Yeah.
Every time. That's later on for now.
They go to his party.
Yeah.
And he possessively addresses as a Cuban stereotype, as Scarface. And it does suck. But there is the bit where he asks the waiter, have you got a little wiener and tiny nuts?
Yeah.
I'm immature. I laughed. I can't deny it.
He breaks down
some set of me than I remembered.
That's the thing. The Cuban character is questionable, as in like the choice of character.
The dialogue's decent, and the dancing's fun.
The whole scene of him like intercepting the evil guy whose name I will never remember because it's not important, while Jennifer's doing some sleuthing, it's quite a fun scene. He's done quite well. It's got
decent dialogue in that scene.
Yeah.
And then he realizes that the Cuban guy is like trying to distract everyone, so he sends his henchman after the Cuban guy. Mm-hmm. He runs away and changes his disguise, so he's Quince from Jaws.
I like that character. He's fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was just
a watch out! There's a shark in the river.
It kind of reminded me in a way, you know, that the bathtub lifeguard thing. I've sent you that before. It's like a porn intro where it's she shows up in this guy's bathroom.
Oh, the shark guy.
Yeah, there's no shark in my bathtub. Kind of reminded me of that in a way. Which, if anyone hasn't seen Bathtub Lifeguard, it is so funny. You don't have to watch the full porn. I'm just saying, watch the intro. I think I should stay, and that we should have sex.
But no, that character,
yeah,
I think he's the best one.
He runs away. The guards chase after him.
No, he rows away. He
disguises himself.
He rows away in his little boat first.
Oh yeah, he rows away to the shore and then he runs away. And then he disguises himself as a pile of grass and a piece of cow shit. Which I think is the most honest disguise of the movie. And then he gets found out in his cow.
Did he dig a hole? Did he dig a hole? Because there's no mound?
No.
Where did he get a ghillie
suit from? He's a master of disguise.
Yes. Sorry.
He runs away.
My apologies.
He hides himself behind a news. He disguises himself as a weird Bavarian pervert, as a tax authority guy. And they're like, well, this is obviously fake.
Yeah.
And then when they go to get their boss, he disguises himself as like a British spy.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of a James Bond parody, kind of Austin Powers parody, maybe.
I think
not funny in any way.
He was quite... the character was cool if they did more with him.
Yeah, I mean, the accent's decent.
If he was the guy at the party, he'd have been well fun.
Yeah, but the problem was they didn't make him funny in any way. He didn't have any jokes.
No.
The joke was occasionally said a weird word that a British person might say.
Yeah.
But not taking it far enough, if you get me.
Yeah.
Like, he was just like, spit spot and pish and posh and that kind of thing. But you want him to be saying, like, you want the guy to be like, do you want a glass? Do you want a martini? And him be like, that's not what we call them back where I come from. In England, we call them daddy's wet juices. Or just something weird like that, you know? I couldn't think of a better thing than daddy's wet juices. Martini
was a brave choice to begin with, considering James Bond.
I know. But anyway.
You rolled with it. I respect that. I respect you committing to the lack of joke.
I hopped on a train of thought, and what happened was it derailed badly, and all the passengers died.
Wish I was on that train.
Anyway, they go to find his secret lair.
Mm-hmm.
They find it. He disguises himself as a big pile of cherries. They manage to save the dad and save the girl and save everyone. And then in the final scene, they catch the villain while he's disguised himself as George Bush. Yeah. And it's not a bad George Bush impression.
No, not really. There's been a lot worse ones. Well, did he do George Bush on SNL? Was that one of his?
I think he did, yeah. I think so.
Like the whole Clinton.
Yeah, I know he used to do Al Gore, so I'm assuming he would do George Bush as well. But like he didn't tell any jokes. He was doing this decent impression, but there weren't any real jokes to go with it.
That's what we found. It's either jokes or good impression.
Yeah, you can't get
good
both.
English accent couldn't do anything with jokes. It because he was good. He was trying too hard to be good at the accent.
Yeah. Good George Bush, no jokes.
Yeah.
Terrible Cuban impression, decent jokes.
Yeah.
The only time it really works in this movie is when it's so bad it's good in the Turtle Club.
Mm-hmm.
I might not truly end up.
I think
I will never not laugh thinking of that scene. It is perfect.
The best character was one that didn't make it to the film.
Oh, do you mean the gay toy shop owner?
Yeah.
I'm very glad that didn't make it into the film. They could have gone some bad places with that.
Yeah, but he was like in that little clip. He seemed like a fun character.
Yeah, he was like Willy Wonka in a way.
The little toy guy.
Yeah, that's in the credits. You get to see a bunch of like deleted scenes and deleted impressions, and a couple of bloopers here and there. And like there was like a few like movie impressions. Like he did like Russell Crowe in Gladiator, and he did the one where he was like a ventriloquist dummy, I guess. Which I mean, they could have done something really funny with that, I think.
Yeah,
but it's like
he should have done Mike Myers.
Yeah, he should have done. Well, he did Shrek, to be fair.
Yeah, but it was bad.
Well, it was terrible. Yeah,
Mike Myers' Scottish accent's questionable as well, isn't it?
It's pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah.
The ventriloquist dummy, I think, would have been my favorite one if they left it in, because they could have had a joke with that where he's being the ventriloquist dummy and there's a ventriloquist under him who's like just kind of like there smiling. It's clearly a full guy, and then when he gets out of the disguise, the ventriloquist just walks away, and then Jennifer's just like, "Who was that guy?" And he's like, "I don't know. I just sat on his lap, you know."
Yeah,
that could have been funny. Also, when the villain gets knocked into a pool at the end of the movie, he does one big fart and it makes like a big jet of water, and that's what the fart joke was leading up to.
Mm-hmm.
Not where I would have gone with it. I would have had the final time he farted in the evil lair. He just poos himself a bit,
or shot into the sky.
Maybe that. I think I would have just had him like because it was always after he did his evil laugh that he farted. He's like, oh no, that was more than usual, and just leave, and that'd be the entire punchline of the joke. It still wouldn't be good, but it would be the natural conclusion to a bit.
Yeah.
Scat humor.
I think what we found is that if you get an SNL sketch and try and put it into full feature length, it doesn't work.
No. This could have worked as an SNL sketch.
Oh, yeah. As in a reoccurring character, whereas this guy, Pistachio, he says something weird, and then he disguises himself as someone in a situation, and he has to try and get out of it. And then each time's a different character. Would work really well.
Wayne's World did work as a film. Wayne's World is a good movie. And they thought, oh, well, if that worked, we can do other SNL sketches as films. And since then, none of the other ones have worked.
Yes, cat. That's my disguise, a cat. That's the thing. Wayne's World is
this entire time.
Wayne's World's almost like a mockumentary, isn't it? That's probably why it to some extent works. It's because it started working later on when like Sandberg starts doing films.
Yeah, but Sandberg's film. Well, I mean, The Lonely Island, I guess.
The Lonely Island film's a mockumentary as well, isn't it? That's why.
Exactly. But it's not based on any like one Lonely Island song though. They made a character that would make sense to them to do Lonely Island songs with, and then made a film where he sings the songs.
Yeah.
But then Sandberg's other films kind of sucked.
Which one's that?
Like Hot Rod didn't do very well.
The tennis one was funny.
That's that was a short film. That does work. Apparently the Tour de France one's pretty good as well. But then what's the one he did with Adam Sandler? That's My Boy. That's supposed to be terrible.
Is it because Adam Sandler's in it?
Probably, but Andy Samberg does not come off well in that movie either, apparently. And then, like, there's other examples of, like, they tried to make an SNL bit into a film, and it just hasn't worked. And I can't remember them off the top of my head, but, like, yeah. Just leave sketches as sketches.
Yeah. You feel free to get the cast and put them together and make a film. Like the new Ghostbusters is good because those guys work well together, and Bridesmaids, those guys work well together.
Yeah, and there's apparently the Pete Davidson film, King of Staten Island, is supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah.
That's got a few SNL people in it, I think.
Yeah, grab them because they know they work well together, and just stick them in something that doesn't involve something they've done already.
Get a good script for it. It's the main thing. In the post-credit scene in this movie, Pistachio goes to the slapping dummy that's been beating him up the entire film.
Yeah.
He opens it up, and there is a dwarf inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the dwarf just slaps him in the face. And he's dressed as Mario for some reason.
Yep. Because he's Italian.
Why.
He's Italian. Obviously, Mario's the only Italian character there is in the world.
Yeah, other than Pistachio Disguisi, of course.
Yeah.
The second Italian character.
Mm-hmm.
Not even Luigi. That was Pistachio Disguisi the entire time.
Trying to be Mario. That makes sense. That's why he can fly.
Yeah, he had a tanuki leaf.
Well, no, because Luigi can jump higher than Mario, can't he? So that's why.
Of course, you're right.
Because it was Pistachio the whole time. There we go. Understanding.
We figured it out.
Yeah.
And then the end of the film is just Pistachio and the slapping guy having a chat.
I really like that. It was good. I think the more I think about it now, this is a mockumentary and well funny. Pistachio having like talking heads in between recount like
if it was like a The Office style mockumentary about the making of this movie.
No, not about the making of it, but it's in like him just chatting to a camera. It's almost like a video diary, and then someone goes with him to like do all these different things, and he puts on the disguises, and then afterwards they talk like, "What was that? Why are you a turtle?"
I think that's a good idea for the pitch section of this movie. Let's save that heat, and bring it for the pitch section. Before we get there, I just want to calm us down a little bit and just bring you a little bit of philosophy, or as I like to call it, filmosophy.
It's going to annoy me more, isn't it?
Yeah. So obviously I've brought you Dana Carvey this week. He has said some things. A lot of them are just him talking about his movies, but I've got a few of them. So, here's some quotes for you from Mr. Dana Carvey. Describing comic sensibility is near impossible. It's sort of an abstract silliness, and sometimes the joke isn't the star. I think can be true. I think sometimes the jokes don't matter, and it is about the character. This movie is obviously an exception. Usually you need the jokes. Sometimes you can just have the character dynamic work, and to describe someone's abstract comedic abilities is a hard thing to do. I think he's right about that. You know, sometimes you can't just take an armadillo, put it in the barn, light it on fire, and expect it to make licorice. I have no idea what he's talking about there. That might be a quote from his like, stand-up or something, but it's an important thing for me to read anyway. And it is true.
Please tweet that.
I envy dogs. They don't know they're getting old. And I try to live by that. You know, sometimes in life, you've got to envy a dog that doesn't know it's getting old.
They do know they're getting old, though, don't they? They just can't tell you.
If I read the mind of a dog that was 13 years old, do you think I'd hear it go, I miss being 2? Or do you think it'd go, ball, 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 ball?
It would be slower and a bit more...
Oh, sorry, it'd be
begrudged.
Ball.
Yeah, it would feel it in itself. That it's like, oh, where's my energy gone? Rather than, I might need to go to the vet soon and get a little sleepy juice.
Oh, no. I like to think that a dog that's old is just like, I'm a dog. Yeah, boys. I'm going to go eat a bone and tell a cat to go fuck itself.
We'll go with that. Just to make yourself feel better, we'll go with that.
Yeah. So that's been your Filmosophy for the week. Thank you, Dana Carvey, for your wonderful quotes. And if you enjoyed that bit, stick around, because there's another quarter of an hour show left. I don't know where I was going with that, but let's move on to the pitch. And
like
I think you had a great idea of making Master of Disguise 2 the making of Master of Disguise.
Like the Disaster Artist.
Sure, no, because Disaster Artist is a film telling the story. I think it needs to be a mockumentary.
I think it'll work well like that. I don't know.
However, here's the thing.
I'm going to be Eminem.
We make it now, obviously.
Yeah.
And we fully recast the movie.
Yeah. Rather than making the second one, we remake Master of Disguise, but
we make it as a mockumentary.
Yeah.
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 So, who's playing Possessio Disguise?
Are we getting an actual Italian person to do it? Because I don't know any Italian.
An actual Italian person?
Nope.
Yeah, there we go.
No.
So it has to be someone who would do a terrible Italian accent again. But maybe it should be someone who's got maybe it should be like a British actor who's got like a very distinguished voice. So that in the interviews, it can be like, well, my thoughts on this? Like, get like a theatre actor.
A young
like
one.
A Mark Rylance, I'm thinking.
I don't know. Do you want a more
maybe someone younger?
I don't know. If they wanted more like one who would do his own stunts, that'd be quite fun.
Okay, yeah. Who's kind of like a young?
Let's go. If you want a proper thespian, let's go in the new age. The ones that are like going to be your McCallans when they're older. So who have you got? You've got Tennant. You've got Hiddleston. You've got what's his name?
Oh, who's that one guy?
Andrew Scott. Andrew Garfield.
The one guy he's in Hustle. He plays the main guy in Hustle. He's a really impressive Shakespearean actor. I will find, because he's been in a bunch of stuff. He's great.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of these Shakespeare people.
Yeah, he is a Shakespeare guy. Adrian Lester, that's his name.
Okay, yeah. And then you got.
I reckon we get Adrian Lester to be Possessio Disguise.
Okay. Right. Yes. Let me remind myself.
Yeah.
Yes. Was he in the? No, he wasn't. I thought he was in the.
In what?
I thought he was in the National to All Black Hamlet. He might have been.
Yes, he was. I'm pretty sure it was Hamlet.
That's what I think. That's what I recognise.
He's done a bunch of Shakespeare. Very impressive guy, and he's doing a terrible Italian accent to play Possessio Disguise. Then in all of the talking heads, he's just like, "Well, when I was doing this scene, I was really trying to, yeah."
No, that's good. That's good because he is a really good actor, being
a really bad performance.
Yeah, that works really well.
Yeah. And then I like this. I really desperately want to see...
Who's his dad and who's his granddad?
Well, I just want to say I really desperately want to see Adrian Lester say, am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
Right. If we're going for this, they're good route. Who is... how old is he?
Adrian Lester, I think, is 40.
Oh, damn it. He's too old.
Why? Who are you thinking?
I was just thinking
he's 52. He just looks quite young.
Okay, because I was like, the next progression means like someone who could be his dad would be like Idris Elba, but they're the same age. And then his dad would be Morgan Freeman, but then they're too close of ages. And Morgan Freeman's not English.
I think Idris Elba could still play Adrian Lester's dad. If you just make Idris Elba look a bit older, like grey him up a bit, and Adrian Lester can play young.
Okay. Because Dana in this was 23, wasn't he? 23.
Yeah.
The character was
23. Older than that.
Show, yeah.
And then Morgan Freeman to play the granddad, I think is a great shout.
Yeah.
And they're all doing it doesn't matter if they're not all English because they're all doing terrible Italian accents. Anyway.
I'm just thinking the progression of really respectable black actors, and I think above him would be like an Elba, then above Elba would be a Freeman. That's quite a good progression, I think.
Yeah. So playing the kid,
Steve Buscemi. Have you not seen Steve Buscemi with a backwards cap and a skateboard?
Yes, you're totally right. Steve Buscemi doing "How Do You Do, Fellow Kids," which means Taika Waititi plays the cuteness
to the dog.
And it's Taika Waititi doing the voiceover for him because in our version the cuteness talks.
Yes,
and he has the Korg voice.
Yeah, he's definitely been a dog before, hasn't he? You could just tell. You could tell.
I mean, to be fair, he is doing werewolves, so he's going to have a wolf movie and their dogs.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
And every other line, Taika Waititi just plugs one of his other films.
It's just a massive ad.
Mate. Yeah, he's like, oh no, Steve Buscemi kid.
No, sorry, no, go back. Do your Kiwi accent. Go on.
No.
Go on.
Christ.
Good.
All right, I'm cool. All right, I'm Taika Waititi, and you used Filthy Skateboard, didn't you? And now it's going Mayor Quimby from The Simpsons is the problem.
He does speak quite quickly. He's like they're very staccato. He's like, yeah.
Be cool. Yeah. Be cool. And what happened is you Filthy Skateboard, and now go watch What We Do in the Shadows on BBC.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Right.
Yeah, and the villain.
What sort of person?
That's good.
We casted and we talked about how it's a mockumentary.
I think let's get someone who in the mockumentary thinks this is like the best work of art ever. Okay. He thinks he's so stupid that he thinks he's an art house piece kind of movie.
Who's good at playing
stupid?
I'm
thinking... No. Not someone who's good at playing stupid. Someone who is stupid.
Right.
Joey Essex.
Okay.
Joey Essex is playing the villain.
We age him up. Convincingly play a villain, though.
Yeah, okay. So it can't be Joey Essex. Who's stupid but can play a villain well?
I know an intelligent person who's good at playing the stupid, who I now feel like I want to be in every film instead of Taika Waititi as well. Jason Mantzoukas.
Oh yes,
I now want him. I want him to be in the trio now in every film we make.
Okay. If we keep doing this, we're going to have the same cast in every single movie.
Amazing.
That's going to get a lot. I do agree Jason Mantzoukas should appear more often. However, I think it should be like how he appears in like every sitcom, where he's a recurring character, but he's not in every single episode, you know?
Can he be one of the disguises? So he disguised himself.
He's playing the villain, but also at one point he disguised himself as Jason Mantzoukas.
Yes. So Joey Essex is playing the villain.
No. Jason Mantzoukas plays the villain.
Okay.
I think is genius. But at one point in the movie, also Adrian Lester disguises himself as Jason Mantzoukas.
Yes. Okay.
That's what he does instead of doing the terrible Indian impression. And then to replace the Cuban impression, he disguises himself as...
I don't need Cuban people. I just want someone different.
No. It's going to be something totally different, so it's not offensive in any way.
Are they playing...
It's going to be something...
A person?
Something that would be distracting as a party. And we get someone in to play this part.
Is it still a dance?
Sure.
Do they get...
I might have it.
Gone.
Sigh.
That's better. I was going to say Louis Spence, but getting Sigh in it, that's great. Getting...
Yeah.
Korean
he does Louis
Sigh.
Spence instead of the... He does Louis Spence instead of doing the weird Bavarian thing.
Because the thing, because people don't realize Psy is a comedian and thought, let's write a really stupid song in my language. So when I bring it to the Western world, they think it's fun. But in reality, it's the song's stupid. He's talking about coffee.
Well, isn't he also talking? It's also about like how people present themselves. It's like kind of anti-consumerist in a way, which I like.
Yeah. It's like one of those ones. If it was translated, it would not make it to the radio.
No,
I love it. He's so clever.
Absolute dude.
Yeah.
And it's great because the film's made in 2020, but it has this incredibly dated 2012.
Oh, right. Yes. So they're really dated songs. Okay.
Yeah.
We need love interest.
All of the songs. Yeah, we do need love interest. But I want to say all the songs are very dated to like early 2010s for some reason.
Okay.
So like
they're 10 years old, so it makes them dated rather than like putting an 80s
it's a movie that would have It's a movie that would have been dated if they made it in 2012, but we're making it in 2020.
Yeah, because if you put like a 60s or an 80s track on it, it becomes
a classic. Yeah,
yeah.
So this is a film that will one day have a classic soundtrack. And also at one point, he just sing. It's Adrian Lester singing "Baby" by Justin Bieber for some reason. The love interest
is in entirety as well. The whole song, including Ludacris's bit.
Yes. Well, Ludacris's bit is done by Taika Waititi, dog.
I really want to see that. Right.
The love interest. We need someone just really good.
What playing age are they at? How old are they meant to be in this?
Well, Adrian Lester's 52. And I know he's playing 30. So let's get another actress who's like in her 50s but can play younger. Maybe maybe Marissa Tomei.
Sorry?
Because she's... How old is she?
Who's this?
Surprised.
Sorry?
Marissa Tomei. Have I got her name right? Who plays Aunt May? Yeah, Marissa Tomei.
Oh, Aunt May. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's 55.
Yeah, I thought she was younger than that.
And she can play a lot younger. Yeah. So let's have Marissa Tomei.
Yeah, my go-to,
she's great.
My go-to is Angela Bassett's like 700 years old. She's I don't know how the woman does it. She's like on paper, Angela Bassett's really old.
Yeah. Well, Angela Bassett can play the mum.
Yeah. That's a good family.
Right?
Imagine having Idris Elba and Angela Bassett as your parents, your granddad, Morgan Freeman. What a family.
And then everyone has a terrible Italian accent as well. And so finally,
how does it work?
Final member of cast to cast.
Yeah.
Is Warwick Davies as a slapping robot?
Yeah, 100%. The ultimate. Mm-hmm. So what is this? So it's from the point of view. Aha, got it. It's Taika Waititi is the dog. It's revealed at the end. But he is the narrator of the film.
Okay, yeah.
And it's POV from him going around with the Disguisey family on their adventures and going through their disguises. You see the process of him building the disguises and afterwards and settling down and eating all that stuff. At the end, it's revealed that he's a dog on a skateboard.
Yes,
which is perfect.
And Tim directing the movie about this guy's family. But also, is Adrian Lester playing Pistachio Disguisey, or is Adrian Lester just playing Pistachio Disguisey, and then in the talking heads, he's just doing his proper like British accent, but then when he's like in his like element, he's got the terrible Italian accent?
I think Adrian Lester is playing Pistachio the whole time. Or he's playing someone else. He's not playing him. He's not playing the actor. He's playing himself. He's playing someone else. Sorry, but whether you have it as an actor playing Pistachio or it's just Pistachio, and then he puts on a stupid accent to
throw off his enemies.
Yeah,
but in reality, Pistachio Disguisey is a genius, and he has a British accent to reflect that, because obviously when you're playing a genius character in a movie, they have to be British. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them.
Scientists and evil villains always bring it British, which is British English.
Keenan is proof that not all British people are intelligent. And that's a bird.
Oh!
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello, yes, you're fine.
Weird. It changed my output, and then you coming out the laptop, and I was like, this is weird.
So that's our pitch for Master of Disguise 2020.
Master of Disguisey.
Master of Disguisey.
Yeah.
2020 edition. The movie.
I think that'd be a great film.
Yeah. So if you've enjoyed this episode of Watch Boogaloo,
why?
And you want to
is the answer.
It was silly, but I thought we did quite well. Please make sure you give us a like, give us a comment, give us a subscribe. A cheeky little subscription always helps.
Yeah, it does.
If we get to 22 subscribers, we're going to release a Q&A. And hey, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. We're just having fun here. We hope you are too.
Nothing happened.
Should I do the famous Boogaloo outro?
Yeah, because I'm you.
Because I am you in disguise, right?
Mm-hmm.
This episode has been diagnosed as turtly enough for the Turtle Club. Thank you and good night.
It was just as bad as mine. I'll give you that.